It's a new year for video games. This is Clockwork from Magical Noob here with the upcoming releases for January 2015. The month starts off slow, but don't let that fool you, there are some pretty big games on this list. Let's start with episode 2 of Telltale Games' Game of Thrones. Just like the first episode, it still doesn't have a specific release date attached to it, but it's coming sometime this month. Usually I get pretty upset when developers don't disclose their release dates, but this next game kinda makes me want to forgive Telltale for doing that. Way of the Samurai 4 is coming out for the PC. Not only is this a re-release since it's already on the PlayStation 3, it came out in 2012. It's more than 2 years old, and still that's not enough for the developer to have a clear release target on this title. That just blows my mind in all the wrong ways. But anyway, there aren't that many open world samurai games available for the PC, so I thought this was worth a mention. Keep an eye out for it. It could come out at the end of the month, could come out tomorrow, it could come out in 2 minutes, you never know. If you're not completely dead after your New Year's party, I'd say Fake Colors is a pretty game to nurture your hangover. It's a simplistic puzzle game, seems perfect to relax on January 1st. On January 2nd, Vintage Year releases on Steam. It's a roguelike top-down shooter with randomized levels, weapons, and items, and all the stuff you expect from roguelike games. Warhammer Quest comes out on the following week. This game is a turn-based strategy game with RPG elements that is based on the classic Warhammer tabletop game. But unless you're a big fan of the Warhammer series, I don't think this will be very appealing to you. Well, let's go for a silly one. Supreme allows you to pursue your wildest dream, to own and operate your own pizza franchise. Yeah, pizza. Funk of Titans is a 2D platformer that doesn't seem to add much to the genre, but I don't really think there's a lot like it on the Xbox One. So if you've missed platforming on the Xbox One, I guess this is one of the few choices that you have. But hey, at least you get to play as a god. Tristroy is also a 2D platformer, this time for PC, but it seems heavily focused on co-op play. If you've been itching for a Metroidvania-style platformer to play with a friend, I guess this will do. Seems like a lot of these games require very specific motivations. Blackguards 2, the sequel to the original Blackguards, released almost precisely a year before this one, improves on what were some of the criticisms pointed to the original game. It remains true to its core as a turn-based strategy RPG, and the story picks up where the first game left off. Get Outta Hell DLC for Saints Row 4 is coming out on the same day, where you get to play as Johnny Gat. In hell! You'll have new powers, new side missions, and a new story which seems to be very closely related to Satan himself. Speaking of Saints Row 4, it's also coming out for the new generation consoles in the form of Re-Elected. This includes all the previous DLC for Saints Row, including Get Outta Hell, which comes out on the same day. That's awesome! Citizens of Earth is the last release we have for this Tuesday. It was a failed Kickstarter project that got picked up by a publisher, and it's now coming out for all these platforms. It's a weird RPG. You play as the vice president of the world, and the day you take office, the people on Earth go crazy. And you gotta recruit civilians to figure out what happened. And, of course, to delegate as much of the dirty work as possible. Let's fast forward to Friday, where Rock Fusion comes out on Steam. It's Space Invaders. Space Invaders 2015. If you like this sort of game, this one looks like it has everything you'd want. Gravity Ghost comes out on the following week on January 26th. This game was originally supposed to come out on 2013. I wonder what happened for such a big delay. But it's a game about floating in space, gravitating around planets, picking up stars to progress on a narrative story. It's got my curiosity, but it's a shame that it's coming out the day before Dying Light! I told you January would pick up the pace. Free-running zombie slaughtering action from the Dead Island developers. It's got 4-player co-op. Drop in, drop out. You can play the whole game with your friends if you want to. During the day, gather resources, progress on the story. During the night, well, try to survive. The zombies get crazy during the night. They're super dangerous. Oh, what did you say? That wasn't big enough for you? Then how about Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PC? It's got that first-person mode from the new consoles version, plus multiplayer heists. Also, the modding potential for Grand Theft Auto 5? I can't wait to see what people do with it. This is the platform this game was meant to be. My only complaint is that it's taken it so long to get here. Big titles ain't your thing? Then how about Grim Fandango Remastered? Bring back those awesome memories of this classic noir adventure game with completely overhauled visuals. Want another January punch? Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires. Yeah, that punch wasn't great. Just like the previous games, the Empire's expansion focuses more on strategical and tactical battle. And this time, in addition to the marriage... I must be misreading this. In addition to the marriage system, the player's officers can have children with their spouses. Wow, Dynasty Warriors must have changed a lot since last I played it. Next up, we move from that amazing Tuesday to a not-so-stellar Friday, where we have The Book of Unwritten Tales 2. A sequel to the original game, it remains a point-and-click adventure in the world of Avantasia. And the last game we're highlighting for this month is Life is Strange. Remember me? Well, that question was a bit confusing. Let me rephrase that. Do you remember the video game called Remember Me? This is from the same developers, but in a totally different style. One that you would associate faster with Telltale games perhaps, but it does have that time rewinding features that we know from Remember Me, and they seem to be core to the game. This is an episodic interactive story, with the first episode coming out on January 30. And those are all of the releases we have for January. Looking forward to anything on this list? Leave us a comment below, let us know where your passion lies. While you're down there, click the like button and subscribe for more gaming goodness. I've been Globku. Take care everyone, see you next time.